Financial freedom doesn't feel impossible because money is hard. It feels impossible because of the way life is designed around you. Most people aren't trapped by their income. They're trapped by invisible pressures, quiet expectations, and habits they never consciously chose. And the strange part is this: you can work harder, you can earn more, you can even become smarter with money, and still feel like freedom is getting further away. So the real question is not, why is financial freedom difficult? The real question is, why does it feel impossible? Let's look at the psychology behind that. About the problem: when people imagine financial freedom, they imagine a moment. A day when bills stop causing anxiety. A day when work becomes optional. A day when money stops controlling every decision. But daily life moves in the opposite direction. Rent increases. Subscriptions quietly multiply. Small comforts become normal. Your income grows, but so does your lifestyle. And over time, a strange cycle forms. You are working to support a life that slowly becomes more expensive, even though that life was originally meant to make you feel more free. Pause for a moment. Think about this. Most people today are earning more than they did 5 years ago, but they do not feel richer. They feel busier, more tired, more financially stretched. Not because they are irresponsible, but because the system around them quietly rewards consumption more than freedom. Thus, the psychology financial freedom feels impossible because the human brain is not naturally built for long-term freedom. It is built for short-term relief. When you are stressed, the brain looks for something immediate: a small purchase, a small reward, a small moment of comfort. And in isolation, these choices feel harmless: a nicer apartment, a newer phone, food delivery after a long day. None of these things feel like major financial decisions, but over years, they slowly reshape your financial life. Psychologists sometimes call this lifestyle creep. But it's not just about spending, it's about identity. People don't just upgrade their lifestyle, they upgrade their expectations. And expectations are expensive. Once a certain level of comfort becomes normal, your brain stops seeing it as luxury. It becomes baseline. And when baseline rises, freedom quietly moves further away. Not because you failed, but because your definition of normal changed. Wonder the hidden trap. There's another psychological layer most people never talk about: comparison. Humans naturally measure progress relative to others. If your friends upgrade their cars, move to nicer apartments, travel more often, your brain interprets this as progress you should also be making, even if your life was already comfortable, even if your financial path required patience. This comparison pressure is subtle. No one forces you to spend more, but the environment whispers, "You should be here by now." And slowly, without realizing it, people start optimizing their life for appearances instead of freedom. But financial freedom requires something unusual. It requires being comfortable living slightly below the level you could afford. Not forever, but long enough for money to start working quietly in the background. Most people never experience this phase, because socially, restraint feels like falling behind. The shift here is the shift that changes everything. Financial freedom is not created by one big decision. It is created by thousands of small, boring ones. Quiet choices that don't feel impressive in the moment. Saving before upgrading. Investing before celebrating. Letting time do the heavy lifting. The people who eventually reach freedom rarely feel like they are doing something dramatic. They simply avoid expanding their life every time their income expands. Pause again for a moment. Imagine two people. Both start earning more money. The first person upgrades everything immediately. Better car, better apartment, better lifestyle. The second person upgrades slowly and quietly invests the difference. For the first person, life feels exciting now. For the second person, life feels almost unchanged, but 10 years later, something remarkable happens. The first person is still working to maintain their lifestyle. The second person begins to feel space. Space in their finances, space in their decisions, and slowly, space in their life. Financial freedom rarely arrives suddenly. It arrives quietly, almost unnoticed. And reflection. This is why financial freedom feels impossible, not because it truly is, but because the path toward it looks ordinary. It looks like patience. It looks like discipline. It looks like saying no to things that everyone around you is saying yes to. And in a culture built around instant upgrades, patience can feel like failure, but it isn't. In fact, patience is often the invisible foundation of wealth. Every dollar that is not spent today quietly becomes a worker for your future. Every small investment is a seed, and seeds don't look impressive at first. But given time, they grow into something powerful. The truth is this: financial freedom is less about earning extraordinary money and more about protecting ordinary money from disappearing. So if financial freedom has ever felt impossible to you, pause before assuming the problem is your income. Sometimes the problem is simply the pace of the world around you, a world that encourages faster spending, but rarely teaches slower wealth. The people who eventually find freedom aren't the loudest. They are the quiet builders, the patient investors, the ones who slowly create space between what they earn and what they need. And that space is where freedom begins. If this kind of calm, thoughtful thinking about money resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel, because here we explore the deeper psychology of wealth and the quiet habits that slowly change your financial life.